Hello, and thank you for viewing this video about how to complete your Crystal Stairs attendance record. This form is used to track daily attendance for payment to your child care provider. It is important that this form be filled out correctly each day of care. The attendance record must be completed only in blue or black ink to prevent any delays in payment. There will be a separate attendance record for each child. Your attendance record will be mailed directly to your child care provider for each approved service month. If your provider does not receive your child's attendance record in the mail, please contact the office immediately. The attendance record is made up of a top section, a child care information section, the family fee certification and receipt section, the attendance record table, and the parent and provider attendance certification section. In this video, we will discuss each of these and also show some examples on how to fill the form out. The top of the form lists the name of the child, their date of birth, the program they are enrolled in, and the month and year the attendance record is for. In the Child Care Information section, you will see your name and your child's child care provider. The Approved Vacation Schedule box will show the total number of days and hours approved. If your child is attending school, the Approved School Schedule box will show the total number of days and hours approved before and after school. If you are required to pay a family fee, it will be shown in the Family Fee Certification and Receipt section. The family fee amount will be listed as either a flat monthly part-time fee or a flat monthly full-time fee. Here is an example. If all fees have been paid for the month, checkmark the All Family Fees Have Been Paid checkbox and write the amount on the Amount Collected line. If there is a payment plan, checkmark the second checkbox and write in the amount that was paid on the Amount Collected line. If no fee has been paid and there is no payment plan, checkmark the third box. List the amount of the fee that still needs to be paid to the provider on the Outstanding Balance line. The Family Fee Certification and Receipt section acts as a receipt for family fees paid or still owed. It is not valid until signed and dated by both the parent and the child care provider. Services may be interrupted or terminated if this section is not completed correctly. The Actual Attendance Record section shows the dates, days, and times in and out. The Date section will auto-populate to show each date of the month and its corresponding day of the week. This section will be used to record daily attendance. Use this Time In column to record your child's drop-off time. The dark gray boxes in the middle can be used by your child care provider to record the times they drop off your child at school and when they pick them up from school. Use this Time Out column to record your child's pickup time. Use the far right boxes to write the reason a child is absent from care, and/or indicate if the child's school has additional information updates like early dismissal or if it is closed. Now we will move on to the last part of the attendance record. In order for the provider to be paid, both you and the child care provider must sign and date the bottom of the attendance record after the last day of care for the month. Now we will go over some examples of how to complete the attendance record. For our first example, the Approved Vacation Schedule field shows approval for Tuesdays, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This means that on Tuesday, when you drop off your child, you will first look at the clock and then input the exact drop-off time on the far left box for that day of the week. In our example, the parent dropped off their child at 5:58 a.m. So that is what they will write on the attendance record. If the child is attending school, the child care provider can input the exact time they drop off the child in the first dark gray time out box. Here, the approved school schedule shows 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 2:15 p.m. to 6 p.m. The provider dropped off the child at school at 7:55 a.m. So the provider marks 7:55 a.m. in the first dark gray timeout box. When the provider picks up the child from school, they will also mark the exact pickup time on the sheet in the second dark gray time in box. Later, when the parent picks up their child, they will check the time and write that on the attendance record. In our example, the parent picked up their child at 6:08 p.m. That completes our first line of the attendance record table. Over the following days, the parent and provider will continue to write down their exact pickup and drop-off times. Until November 11th. This day, the child didn't attend school because it was a holiday, but the parent works. The child's time in and time out are written down. But notice that there was no sign in or out for school because it was closed for the day. You will also write that the school was closed for the holiday in the far right box. The next week is written down as normal until Thursday when the child is sick. On that day, the parent leaves all of the time in and time out boxes empty and writes sick in the far right box. Remember, you will use the far right boxes to write the reason a child is absent from care and or indicate if the child's school has additional school information updates, like early dismissal, or if it is closed. Next, for our example, the following Friday, Monday, and Tuesday are written as normal, but on the following Wednesday, the school has early dismissal at 1:15 p.m. So in our example, the provider writes the exact time they picked up the child from school in the dark gray time in box and documents that school was let out early that day in the far right box, making sure to write the exact time the child was picked up from school. Next, the provider in our example was closed for both Thursday the 24th and Friday the 25th, so care did not occur. Here, the parent leaves all of the time boxes empty and writes down that the provider was closed for the holiday on both of the far right boxes for those days. The last days of the month for our example have no more holidays, sick days, or early dismissals, so they are written down as normal. That completes the attendance record entry for our example. Attendance records will normally have holidays, sick days, and early dismissals. This is how the attendance record would look if there were no holidays, sick days, or early dismissals for the month. And this is how the same attendance record would look if the child were not attending school. Again, in order for the provider to be paid, both you and the child care provider must sign and date the bottom of the attendance record after the last day of care for the month. Remember, you are signing under penalty of perjury that the information on this form is true and correct. Keep in mind, no changes can be made to the form once it has been submitted for payment. The provider must submit the attendance record before 3 p.m. the third business day of the following month to be on time. If the attendance record is late, it will not be processed until the following month. For more details, please view the back of the attendance record form. Please mail your completed attendance records to the following address. To check on the status of your claim, please call 800-833-3663 or visit www.crystalstairs.org. That concludes this video on the Crystal Stairs attendance record. Thank you for watching.